Welcome to Power Up with Kathy Orchiola. Each episode, my guests and I share stories on how to be excellent and build your leadership skills. I hope that through these stories, hearing these stories, that you are inspired to power up your leadership. So now it is time to introduce our next guest, Ty Wynn, Area Manager for Orange County in California Buildings PCL. Welcome, Ty.
Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate you having me on today and definitely look forward to our discussion.
Ty is one of my favorite PCL cabbers. He is a longtime tenured PCLer. Ty's a graduate of Cal Poly SLO from the Construction Management Program. He joined PCL in Hawaii as an intern and then came back to us to begin his career as a field engineer in California Buildings back in 2006. And he's just killing it. So thanks for that, Ty. All right, so let's just jump right into it and talk about some of your perspective on leadership. So how would you characterize your leadership style, Ty?
Ooh, I'm jumping right into it, Kathy. I like to believe that my style represents servant leadership, where I'm focused on the needs of the individual team members and say ultimately the team goals as a whole. I want my team to feel like they are working in a safe and inclusive environment where diversification of thoughts and ideas is not only welcome, but a really good thing for us. And ultimately, I just want people to believe that the people who feel good want to come to work and do good work.
You know, what really stands out for me in that is the sense of belonging. I think people really thrive when they feel like they belong and their value is recognized. And I've always seen that in your teams. Your teams know that you have their back and that you value their contribution. So, challenges. Talk to me about a challenge that you have faced, that you have overcome, and then how that challenge has really changed the way you lead and changed your perspective of what a leader and great leadership looks like.
Fantastic question. I'm not sure how much time we have on your podcast, but I think what comes to mind is all leaders go through growing pains of being a really good doer and effectively standing out because you are good at what you do from a technical aspect. And now you're thrown into being responsible for others and their ability to provide timely, quality products. Nothing beats experience. Knowing this about myself has really helped me be more patient with my team. And I think that's really changed the way I view leadership. The loudest voice or the most outspoken person in the room isn't always the leader. So this has really shaped the way I view the unique qualities of my team members to give them the confidence that, albeit you may not be the loudest person in the room, you can still be a leader.
I really heard your servant leadership come through in that answer. The reality is confidence to be quiet and let someone else share the space. It's a different kind of confidence. It's an example of what got you here won't get you there. All right, Ty. So I like to ask advice from aspiring and inspiring leaders like yourself to talk to me about what shaped you. So I'd like to transition into the ACE story, and I'd love to just share the platform with you and just walk through your journey. Talk to us about how ACE has changed your life.
I'm getting chills just with that question. I would just start off by saying, without the ACE Mentor Program, I would not be sitting here speaking to you today. So the ACE Mentor Program, ACE stands for Architecture, Construction, and Engineering. The first project I ever walked on was as a high school student. It's the Walt Disney Concert Hall in downtown LA. I was just so fascinated by the arches and just the materials, and I felt really privileged to be given that opportunity. When I was interviewing for full-time positions, I asked every single organization that I was talking to if they were part of the program, and some said yes, some said no. And I just said, hey, this is a program I'm extremely passionate about and I want to give back. So came back to LA and went back to my alma mater, actually, John Marshall High School, and was a team member, mentor, and then was a team leader there for 10 years. Then I served on the board as a board member, secretary, and vice chairman of the board. And excited that I'm so part of that community because that program has given me so much. So it's just easy to give back. That's my A story. I appreciate you asking.
So you and I connected right away over ACE when I first joined California Buildings back in 2017 because we both have a heart for the program and see the incredible things that it does. And you are just I'm a national board member, and so I remember back in I think it was 2018 when you and I were at the board meeting and got to see Colin Powell speak. We were at the board meeting,
Yes.
and you were just the pinnacle of what ACE, the ACE program, truly hopes will happen. As a former high school ACE mentee, you then became a mentor, and then you became a board member in LA. So, can you just talk to me about how integrating into the community in such a way and giving back really sets you apart?
I appreciate you being on the national board, Kathy, and just modeling the way because it really helps set the stage for recruiting other mentors within the organization and really the community because they see you out there, they see you at that top level, whether they're with PCL or not. They said, well, look at her, right? She's an executive and she's supporting it. Why shouldn't I? But that shouldn't be the only reason. You asked about, how giving back and being in the community differentiates me, and I would say others. It's about connecting with not only the internal members you have, but the communities in which you work, right? You want people to know that not only are you building their buildings, but you're helping shape the community as well. And one way you do that is by giving back to the youth. So I always tell people that I'm mentoring, that I'm engaging with internally, hey, yeah, you could be the best engineer, you could be the best project manager, but when there's, let's say, one promotion or two promotions that are left out there, these organizations want to see the leaders, right? So what else are you doing differently? And I think this is one way to really show that, to be out in the community and really giving back.
I'm super proud that so many of PCL's leaders, area managers, district managers have raised their hand to say, sign me up for the next level of ACE, which is this transformative partners program. And you, of course, when I sent out the, hey, who wants to volunteer to really make a difference in someone's life from beyond just high school, to follow them all the way through college. And you were literally the first response, as I knew you would be. Talk to me about why you think transformative partners make sense for you, and maybe talk through a little bit of that commitment that you're making.
Transformative part of the ACE Mentor program. It's about really committing to a student that you will mentor right out of high school, all the way through them graduating and giving them an opportunity to have internships and effectively giving them a first look at being a full-time hire. And I think a lot of times during the program, we forget the mentoring aspect of ACE, right? Like it's really good to show students and to help guide them and enlighten them in careers in architecture, construction, and engineering. But what these kids and what these students really need is mentorship. They need someone that they can talk to. They need real life experience. They need someone that has filled out a financial aid application before. They need to know that you're not going to know everything when you walk into an internship, but that, hey, you have Ty, you have Kathy that you can call whenever you want just to say, hey, I'm going through this. Do you have any advice? And I was given that in when I was going through school because my mentors guided me, and there were times where I thought like the world was falling down, and they said, "Yeah, we've been through that, right? And
Mm.
here's how you're going to get to that." So when this was brought about, when you sent that email, I said, not only are we doing this already, but like now we can be really focused, and now we can really shape the life of a person and people. And the more that we do this, I think not only is the construction industry as a whole going to get better, but I think the world's going to be a better place.
I I can't agree more. I think back to when I was in high school, and a lot of these students are underrepresented students. They're the first in their family to go to college, and it's really scary. I know that I had no idea of how I was going to go to school, how I was going to pay to school, and it seemed like this mountain of challenge in front of me. But I had a mentor. It wasn't through the ACE program back then. I'm dating myself a bit here. But, I had a mentor that just sat down with me and said, hey, here's where I went to school. Here's how you can get a scholarship that's academic that's going to pay for 80% of it. Here's some other things that you can do to pay for the rest of your schooling. And you don't have to concede to a path because just that lack of knowledge and the lack of confidence, because no one else in your family is able to come around you and provide that support. And I think it's the same for you, right? That was your background as well. And
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the people that were around me, we were faced with either going to the military or getting a full-time job, right?
exactly.
The college was the third thing that we looked at.
Yeah.
So seeing that others can do it, and people who barely knew you for 1 year to say, you know what, I believe in you and I'm going to help you get through this. Because frankly, like you said, no one in my entire family has ever filled out a college application before. What is this thing? Like, where do you start? So having people that have gone through it and truly care to say, hey, you can do it. I believe in you. And I'm always going to be here to support you. It's a big freaking deal.
It's a huge deal. It's a life changer. It's what makes the difference in these young students' lives. And I want to take this opportunity to really piggyback off what you're saying, to encourage people to get involved in the ACE program, to encourage people to actually mentor a young person, to encourage people to give back, because tomorrow is going to only be as successful as we are setting it up to be. So we've got to build the future that we want by investing in the next generation. And I'm so happy that you're back in California and back to just build that leadership in that space. So, Ty, we're getting towards the end of our time talking today. I just want to thank you for being an inspiration. I think you inspire so many young students that they can do it, that not to let any challenge stand in their way, and to also feel comfortable and confident in reaching out to people in the industry to ask for help, reaching out to teachers to ask for help. I just really appreciate your spirit of giving back, and I've watched it translate into leadership. I watch your teams, and I always say my goal as a leader is to be someone that my team would go over a cliff for. And I see that in your teams. They love you and they will go over a cliff for you. And I just want to thank you for inspiring me and inspiring others to just bring their best every day and to involve bringing in the community into your leadership journey.
I appreciate all of that. And it goes both ways. I'd go over a cliff for my team, and and I think modeling the right way to do things, and caring for one another and caring for our community just makes us better humans.
I love that. So simple. Makes us better humans. All right, Ty, I always ask each guest to tell me what their superpower is before they leave the show. So, Ty, what is your superpower?
I love this question. Um, I think my superpower is truly believing in others and helping them see their potential and finding their superpower. It's meeting people where they're at mentally to allow them to be seen and heard. So I think that's my superpower.
Building the next generation. Building buildings and building the next generation. Rock on. Thank you, Ty. I appreciate your inspiration. I appreciate you joining me here today. And I invite our guests to come back to see who we have on next and what stories we tell you next. Thank you.
This was a lot of fun, Kathy. Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.